Radio Footy and Frothies preview time. Daggy and Barney with you with some generic opener there. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, we are going to preview round 6 of National Rugby League action, which kicks off 10 to 8 on Thursday evening with the Dolphins hosting the Panthers at Suncorp. The track is good, the weather's fine. And for the Dolphins, they welcome back Tom Gilbert, which is a nice in. They lose Ray Stone, so Max Plath goes back to lock. And Kenny is back, actually, as well. Yeah, there you go. The rest looks fairly straightforward. Jack Cole, Mitch Kenny out for Penrith. And Dylan Edwards back at fullback. Luke Summerton comes in to play hooker. And Scott Sorensen also into the starting lineup. Schneider, Papley, Henry, Garner, the bench there. Do Penrith get back on track here, Barn?
Yeah, mentioned in the review from last week, I think that Dylan Edwards adds a whole heap for this defensive line for the Panthers. Just gets the players where they need to be, and there's been so many times they've been out of position on the edges recently. So I don't think that they put the Dolphins away. I think it's going to be close for a fair bit because the Dolphins have been improving week on week for the last probably 2 to 3 weeks. Wouldn't surprise me if it did get blown out at the end, but I'm going to go Penrith 1-12. I'm going to go man of the match. Let's go Dylan Edwards on his return, because he'll do a whole heap of stuff that nobody will notice, and he'll probably score a try on the back of that as well. And we'll go first try scorer. I really like what I've seen out of Alamotti recently, to be honest. And if he's given a one-on-one matchup at any time during this game, I expect him to score a try. So wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins cover the line, though.
Very good. They sort of want to tip an upset here, but this is now all but full strength Penrith minus Bizza. There's someone else obvious, and obviously Kenny and potentially Cole, but the rest of them are all. We're back to what we're going to be with for the rest of the year. I think they need to get the season back on track. I'm going to go with a 2-point win to Penrith on the back of Nathan Cleary kicking them to victory. The outside backs really interest me, and if they play like they did last week, I think points are going to come for Averillo, Farnsworth and co, because they can leak. We know they can leak. The Penrith being averaging 30 points a game conceded, and I'm still not quite sure they can rack up 30 here. I think it might be 26-24 or something like that. Fairly open game.
This one probably comes back to low 20s. Both sides.
But Penrith just scraping home man of the match, Cleary, first try scorer, Herbie Farnworth, and not much more to add.
Does Max Plath or Yo get the points in this one? Who has a better game?
Yo 10-9 on points.
I'm gonna go Plath.
Fair enough. Yeah. Mate, if he
see how we go.
If he handles Yo, they're going to go a long way towards winning that game.
I think it's going to be close.
How are these two teams?
Who would have thought Dolphins 14th, Panthers 15th?
Exactly. And me sitting here potentially thinking about tipping them. The Dragons and Titans, which team's going to fuck up less at Wynn Stadium with unchanged 17? Flano sticks solid again. Clemmer starts. And what else am I reading through here? Not many other changes there. Mo Fodawaker will captain the Titans after Tino is suspended. Sam Verrills is back as well. Who starts for Mo? Tino, sorry. Mo starts. Tino out. Randall plays 13. Arama Howe is now the 14. Good luck to him. What's happening here, Barn?
Wynn Stadium, the Dragons, if they play their best footy, it's at Wynn Stadium. It's just been a repetitive thing recently, unless they're playing the Sharks at Wynn Stadium, which has been a wipeout for the last couple of years. But I really like Gutherson has started this year absolutely on fire, and I don't think it's going to stop.
And just gets a team he can pull apart the outside backs.
Absolutely. Whether he does it on his own or if he gets the ball out to Sawley, Holmes, Tuipulotu, or Tyrell Sloan, I can see the Dragons jumping out to a good lead, and they might actually hang on for once. So We'll give it to them by about 8 points. Dragons 1-12. Man of the match, Gutherson. I might go for the Titans to score the first try just through. Let's give it to the captain. Mo might just be
okay.
inspired in that first 10 or
Right.
15 minutes and barge over next to the post.
Gutho man of the match. I'm going to say Dragons golden point. There we go. Because they're going to fuck up a 20-point lead. AJ will score one in the last. There'll be 3 Titans tries last 15 minutes. There you go. There's a
The first
bold
try
prediction.
scorer.
First try scorer to a Palutu. I think Dragons start hot, and then
According
Titans
to
start.
NRL.com, the Dragons don't have a coach, so that's interesting.
How about that? What are the odds on these games? Actually, I'm just going to bring that up too. What's the odds on this one?
$1.53 Dragons,
Right.
$2.52 the Titans.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know, it's fair
I don't
enough,
think the
but okay.
Titans have ever won at Wollongong. I know
Well,
it's
no, they
probably
hadn't
a
won
pretty
in.
small sample
They hadn't won in
size,
Sydney for
but
like forever, until the other week. So
I don't think they've ever won a game at
how
Wollongong.
about that? Okay.
Probably only had 6 games down there, but
Yeah. Broncos host the Chooks at Suncorp on I think they're in Brisbane for like the next month. The Broncos.
surprise.
Reynolds named.
Fridays and Saturday nights.
Yeah, they get the cosy run now. Jaden Hunt starts and Martin Tapau comes onto the bench. Now, Mark's back. He's on. So he's on the wing. Oh, the Mayo he's on the wing, but he's not named there right now.
He's not
Tupou and Dom
named there
Young.
yet. He's still on the injury suspension, but
Yeah, but
they reckon Mark's going to go to the wing.
The suggestion is yes, he'll replace Dom Young. Hugo Savala does replace the old halfback Chad Townsend. And Nat Butcher and Nafahu White will start at prop with no Lindsay Collins. Victor Radley should be okay as well. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to help him because I think Brisbane might wipe him off the field. I think we're going to get into Roosters vortex. It's going to be all sludgy and slugging around, and then Brisbane will pretty much do what they did last week: score a bunch of points very quickly, and the Roosters won't score a bunch of points very quickly. I think we get almost a replay of what the Broncos produced a week ago. Man of the match, probably Payne Haas again. He had a quiet one last week. First try scorer, Katoni Staggs. 13 plus, etc., Barn.
Yeah, I think they just go from the start in this one, to be honest. I'm going to go with Ben Hunt because he's been threatening so often, and I'm not even sure if Reynolds should be playing this game. Like, why wouldn't you just put Ben Hunt to 7 and
I'm not
play
sure he will
someone
yet.
else at 6? Like,
who have they named? Yeah, Jock
coming
Madden
off
on standby.
a hamstring injury, why even fucking risk it at this stage of the year?
Yeah.
Like, that's the that's the advantage that they have at the moment. They can just put Billy Walters to 6 or whatever they want to do and give one of these guys a rest that probably need it. But yeah, I can see Brisbane really controlling the middle of the field. Actually, it's weird because the Roosters have actually been pretty good in the middle of the field, but as soon as the ball gets outside of those tram tracks, because Staggs has been warming into it, I'm going to go Staggs first try scorer. I'll go Ben Hunt man of the match, and yeah, Broncos to win it pretty comfortably in the end. It might not happen till the last 20 minutes, but Broncos 13 plus.
One of the most baffling things I've seen this week is the Sharks and Seagulls from Perth at 3 p.m, which is 1 p.m. local time. Why you wouldn't make that the later game and at least play it at night
There's 2
over there?
games over there.
Oh, that makes sense then. Is that what's going on? I
Yeah,
apologise.
the Rabbits and
Carry on,
Cowboys
NRL.
are playing over there too.
Oh, there you go. They're playing back to back. Good on them. Well done. But they still should be playing later. For the Sharks, Teague Wilton is back as the only change. Talakai comes back in as well onto the bench. And for Manly, Croker and Tommy Talau should both be on an extended bench, but the suggestion is they should be right to go. So there'll be some reshuffling there.
That's the guy we were looking for before, Talau.
Yeah. Yeah. Saab should be okay. Aloe is also back as well. What happens in this one? Both these teams need this win, I would suggest.
I think Billy Burns, while he put in heaps of effort last week, he was pretty much dominated physically, and that's where the Sharks missed the trick on that left edge. And I think Teague Wilton coming back in there really shores up that left-hand edge. They missed Talakai as well, who went off with the HIA.
Yes.
Not last week, the week before.
Yeah.
He's been adding a bit of punch through the middle. Yeah, and if the Sharks don't come out physical and aggressive against this Manly side, they've got some grub in them. So I think this is going to be right down to the wire. I think this could go to Golden Point, to be honest. Unless the Sharks really try to dominate the middle of the field, I think I can see this being a 1 or 2 point game by the end of it. And I'm not sure which way it goes because the Sharks have not proven themselves to be a clutch team that can pull it out of the fire. But I'll go with the Sharks 1 to 12. Maybe a Trindle field goal in Golden Point just to get one back on DCE because I'm pretty sure he's beaten us about 3 times in Golden Point over the last 5 or 6 years. And first try scorer, let's go Hiroti again. It just seems to be the Sharks' go-to at the moment is that left edge, whether they use Mulatalo up as a decoy or whatever, but it's been Iro or Hiroti for the last 4 out of the last 5 games. So.
No idea. Manly are $2.60, so I'm going to tip them at the odds because I think it's a flip of a coin. 6.5 line, probably okay. And DCE field goal to sink you for like the 4th straight year or whatever it is. We'll finish with that and round the match. First try scorer, Olakau'atu. We then get to the 5:30 game. They're Bunnies and Cowboys. For the Bunnies, Latrell Mitchell will captain the side and play at 6. And Jaden Sullivan is the 7. Now, Lewis Dodd was suspended for a crusher tackle, I believe, in reserve grade, so
correct.
Not necessarily on the outer officially just yet. Alex Johnson's back, and Ewan Aitken is going to start.
Wayne Bennett has commented twice on Lewis Dodd. The first time was he fucking walked into the change rooms and he goes, "Who are you?"
Yeah, you're the fucking
and what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And the second time was fucking who's been the halfback? Humphreys is a much better half than Lewis Dodd. They're the 2 comments that he's had to say. So I cannot see Lewis Dodd playing a game in first grade for the Rabbitohs.
Ewan's starting at centre in Latrell's stead there. Ruben Cotter is sweet, and he'll push Sam McIntyre to the bench, which will push Harrison Edwards back to 18th man in an interesting game. I'm going to tip the... Yeah, once we start getting... I'm going to tip South. They're winning. The other team just beat the 4-time premiers. But that said, I'm going to tip South, and I don't know why, because once you start getting down and everyone out of position and first graders missing and such, you become concerned. But Jai Grace tries very hard. If no one's noticed that, he's going to be up and about, and I go with him first try scorer. If South's going to win, Latrell is going to pull some magic out of his ass. So let's go with him booting 40-20s and putting up bombs and throwing cutout balls and having a couple of try assists. This might be a bludger. Let's go South's grind 20-16 over the Cowboys. Barn?
Yeah, I can't see an edge on paper for anyone realistically in this game. It's going to take 1 or 2 individual efforts to really put them on their back and carry them over the line. I just don't think it comes in the middle of the field. And now with the trail being moved to the middle of the field, I think that that will be a point that the Cowboys will go out of their way to put as much pressure on Sullivan and Mitchell as they possibly can and shut down the ball playing coming out of the middle of the field. And I just think you might see Drinkwater being able to capitalise on the edges and put away the likes of Derby, Purdue, Tuolangi for a couple of tries there, and they might win by 4 to 6 points. Cowboys 1 to 12. Drinkwater man of the match. First try. Fucking just pick someone. I have no idea.
This round
let's go with the forward.
This round's going to be a lot more interesting.
I'm going to go with Keon to score the first try for South Sydney.
This round's going to be a lot more interesting to review than preview. I'll be honest. Eels and Raiders have gone to Darwin for the Eels traditional Darwin game. Now, interesting tact.
Not one game in Sydney this week.
Well, I was going to say it's an interesting tact with Gather Round being in where all the AFL teams going to Adelaide to whatever they
Play
do
in
there
3 different places.
to play three
Like
different.
what you call it gather round, and then you play 8 games in 3 different places. Anyway, it's not the conversation we want to have. Fuck AFL.
Do you want me to? Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll move on. Like honestly, people want to compare Gather Round and Magic Round. Wake up. What did Peter Volandy say? It was something like, "What are they going to do there? Gather sticks or something?"
Yeah.
Eels and
A
Raiders
game
are
that
done.
nobody cares about in the state that fucking everyone hates. Good.
Can you tell
With
me?
nothing to do.
Yeah, Barn, can you tell us something good about Adelaide without mentioning wine or
A
churches?
church or
Yeah.
what? Yeah, no.
Anyway, big shout out to our Adelaide fans. Eels, before they leave, Eels are potentially going to welcome back Bailey Simonson from ACL, first time in nearly a year, with unfortunately no Zach Lomax. But Simonson has got through the past few weeks in New South Wales Cup. Joash Papali, 18th man, is the other option there. And no change to the Raiders, who struggled in the heat a few weeks back in North Queensland. Interesting bit of travel here. As Ricky suggested pre-season, it's almost like someone's against him. Can Para go back to back?
No.
Okay.
No. How do I can't see them matching up to this forward pack at all. And then once you get into the rotation, Dylan Walker was their best player last week. Like, the best impact coming off the bench, like by a mile. The rest of them did sweet fuck all. And then like Sasagi was involved in that last try. Owen Paddy's got a very good kicking game out of dummy half. Smithies was their lock last year. And Mariotta's been one of their best forwards. Chuck that on the back of Horsburgh, Nicholson, Young, Tapane, Papali. Yeah, I think you've got about 3 Parramatta players playing against 6 or 7 forwards in this Canberra side, and I can see them getting rolled through the middle of the field. I don't think Canberra's got enough to be able to completely put them away, but I still think they win 13 plus, probably 14 to 18 point spread. Canberra, yeah, Canberra 13 plus. Man of the match should go to Fogarty because he will just kick them into position and set them up when they need to be set up. You might even see Strange have a breakout game in this one. Set up a try, score one himself. But first try scorer, let's give it Parramatta because they might just come out flying in the first 10 minutes. Lomax isn't going to be there. Apparently he's named. So, but we'll go with whoever's going to take Zach Lomax's spot.
Simonson / Papali.
Mm.
No, whoever's going to take Lomax's spot is going to rush off their wing and let Savelio Tamale walk in and score the first try, because that's what happens to Parramatta. He'll go in first. I think the 6.5 line looks very, very achievable for the Raiders, so I'm going to cover that because it probably might end up 13 plus by the end of the game. You've previewed that pretty well, Barn. Tom Starling, we'll go with him man of the match in and around there, giving Riley Smith nightmares. But it'll be the forward pack. It'll be on the back of that forward pack just dominating there.
Tapane and fucking Papali will be giving Riley Smith nightmares because they'll
That's
just be
true.
running straight at him.
The Storm and Warriors in their traditional Anzac Day clash now being brought forward. Anzac Day this year, 3 games of footy, by the way, on the Friday, but we'll get there in a couple of weeks.
They need to change that clash, but anyway.
Will Warbrick and Nelson still out, so Leo keeps his spot. What do you make of him on the weekend?
Didn't really rate a mention for mine,
No.
to be honest. Did you notice him?
No, Cooler went through him a couple of times. That's about it. No, that's the only change there. Rocco Berry comes back in. Pompey back to the wing. Ed Cossey dropping out. It's a good game. This is going to be a game of the round. Well,
Give the Warriors half a chance.
absolutely, because they've got such a great record in recent years.
$5.80.
According to Joey. They have not beaten the Warriors in the last 16 clashes. They're not beating the Storm in the last 16 matches,
It's
but
a line.
they are a good I think they're a better team than we're giving them credit. 16.5 line, they'll cover that. Yeah, they'll cover that. Take the
So, $1.95.
16.5 for the $1.90, $1.95 you might get there. That said, Storm will win, Munster's playing some good footy lately. We'll go through man of the match. First try scorer will be Coates off a crossfield Munster kick. Bum.
Watch Munster fucking snap something this week.
We're
I'm going to
waiting
go
for it.
Harry Grant first try. He's done fuck all attacking stat wise this year, and I think he might just be able to dive over for the first try in this one. Yeah, Storm, pretty easy. The line is interesting. I think they might just cover the line because I think the Warriors will probably fade in the last 15 minutes of this game. It'll all depend on the first hour, obviously. I tipped the Warriors to win the wooden spoon at the start of the year, so realistically, I should be tipping them to be getting beaten by 50 against this Warrior Storm team that looks like they are pretty much favourites for the comp. But even what they've been putting out, like they've been probably better than anyone else, but realistically, 10 teams could probably beat them if they have a good day.
Mm.
So it just shows you how close this comp is at the moment. Storm 13 plus. Let's go, Jack. I went with Hughes first try scorer, and it had. I went Grant first try scorer. It has to be Hughes, man of the match. Like what I saw from him last week, just completely changed this Storm setup. So.
Newcastle host the Tigers at 4 o'clock. No more 6 o'clock games for the foreseeable future, which probably isn't a
Good.
bad thing.
I
For
hate the 6 o'clock game.
they're good for like a week, and then the weekend becomes very long especially when they're not needed. Like Cole McCarthy comes onto the wing. Then everyone else is out. Thomas Cant starts. KPP starts. Brodie Jones starts. Matt Arthur on the bench. Tyrone Thompson on the bench. Jermaine McEwen on the bench. They're missing about 9 first graders. Newcastle. Luai's back for the Tigers, as is Skelton, as is Samuela Fainu, which pushes his brother to the bench. And their appropriate fill-ins also move out Loa E and
I'd be playing Sione
Fainu.
in front of Samuela at the moment,
Samuela.
especially coming off the back of injury.
And interestingly enough, Brett Naden's also back, but he's probably named in reserve grade, but he's on the extended bench.
He's still not going to take Dewey or Toa's spot.
I wouldn't think so, but the depth is finally a little bit healthier than it has been in recent years. Better the weekend, the Tigers, and don't like saying this at all, and I feel dirty for even said it. They were $2.60 yesterday. They're into $2.20. We've said it for years. Once you start getting a bunch of reserve graders playing it, they generally don't get the job done against a top flight Tigers team, and this Tigers team's nearly full strength. I think they have to win, or it might be panic stations again, given the recent pattern of recent weeks.
Yeah.
As you said, I wouldn't mind seeing Luai take control for once and just really
This
drive
is
this
a
home
game where he should take control.
and just ice the game, do the little things right, and control tempo where it's needed, all that sort of stuff. Take Ponga out of the game, and they will win. I wouldn't mind seeing Jareem Buller scoring the first try and maybe a couple just lighting up the field with a long range effort here or there.
He's been doing the little things right. I need to see him do the big things right, to be honest. Like the interchange, like the Tigers should dominate that 20, 30-minute period where the Knights have to bring on, as you said, the reserve graders apart from, who knows, Tyrone Thompson. If he's anything like his brother, then that could
There's
be
reps on him,
an
I believe.
advantage.
There is reps on him.
And Matt Croker's not the worst in the world, but Fainu, Bird, Hunt, De Silva really should dominate that 30-minute period where you get into the interchange. But even with Crossland playing 7, he can pass the ball, and as long as Sharp and Ponga are interested in getting into the game, then it still could probably be close because you got Gay Guy Best,
And it is where
Marzu out there.
that is always a scary matchups for those any centers, any Tigers centers that gets any good centers is always scary.
This one could go to Golden Point too, I think.
Wow.
To be honest, I would not be surprised if this is like a 20-20 all going into Golden Point, and then Galvin kicks a field goal, but well, yeah, it'd have to be Ponga because I don't think anyone else. Maybe Gagai kicks a field goal, but yeah, this is an absolute flip of the coin for mine. And what are the odds?
220.
60, 220. Yeah, so we'll back the Tigers on just on the odds. Like I have no idea how this game pans out. This could just be, as you've been wishing for years, absolute rugby league chaos.
I
I'm
like
going to
a red
go
one.
Tigers on the back of Terrell May because he might score one and set one up. Just he has been one of the best players in the comp for 5 weeks, and it's not going to stop.
And he's had a
coming
pretty good
into
partner
this
in
one.
crime in Pole too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go Tigers 1-12. Man of the match, we'll go. I want it to be Luai, but I don't think it will. We'll go with Appy or Terrell May for man of the match, and we'll go first try scorer. Let's give it to Dewey out on the right edge.
What's got you frothing this week, Barn?
This game's very fucking interesting. I really like this game, actually, to be honest, because as like it could be absolute chaos. Like the fact that the Panthers could go 5-1 into round 6, that excites me a little bit. But I think the best performance you're going to see this week is probably going to come out of the Storm.
Fair enough.
The halves from the Storm, Munster and Hughes. I think they might put a show on this week.
I think there's 5, maybe 6 generally intriguing games with. I don't think any of them be all-time classics, but I think how Penrith bounce back is going to be interesting. That Dragons game could be anything at all. Sharks and Seagulls is interesting. Bunnies, can they keep going without a set of halves? And as you said, that Sunday.
I don't think so. I think you could bet against the line in every game this week and probably be pretty comfortably in front.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I Warriors might cover them. I think you're sleeping on the Warriors a little bit. But anyway, all of those exciting things.
I said to cover.
Oh, to cover it. Sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean. So yes.
Go against the line.
Yeah.
Every game.
Yeah. Very interesting, very exciting. We'll review it all again hopefully next Monday, actually. But we'll see how that pans out. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.